Hey you folks, Quill18 here, and welcome to another episode of Let's Play Hearts of Iron 4! It's the press release copy, we're still playing as Italy, and we're still trying to help out our fascist brethren over here in nationalist Spain. It's a bit of a cluster something, with these ever-shifting battle lines here. And I think it's a result of sort of low unit density overall, because, you know, neither one of the armies really can have a complete front battle line. It's easy to keep punching through. On the other hand, that's kind of why I sent tanks over here. They're only light tanks. These L3s actually don't even have mobile turrets. All they have is machine guns that face forward. Kind of terrible tanks, actually. But we are trying to, you know, cut off units as much as possible, get some kills. And we have encircled and 100% killed quite a few units over the course of this war. So hopefully we're continuing to make forward progress. We've actually expanded the borders past Madrid for a while. We pushed into Madrid, held it for a while, and the borders are pushed a little past that, which is good. Madrid is the capital, worth the most victory points. I think if we took Barcelona, nationalist or Republican Spain would fall, but it's going to be a little while before that happens. There's the other tank. It was hiding. There you go. We'll get that pushed in a little bit more, and we're going to try to make a cut over here to isolate some more troops outside of supply reach. But we got involved in a little skirmish there, so we're going to use that. I think I'm going to cancel all the orders. I'm just going to manually move my units over here. Since the battle lines tend to shift so fast, and I don't have control over them because they're not my actual units, so it's a little bit awkward. I think I'm going to deselect the one with no organization, and the rest of them are going to move around this way. I'll make another move after this. Actually, let me take one of you and park there. The L6 tanks are done. Construction level 1 is also done. Wonderful. I'm going to help out in this battle in just a moment here. Just going to get my troops in position. They're all looking okay, and we've actually regained some of our organizations. So we're going to send all of our tanks in over here. We don't need that kind of battlefront, but it's still nice. Okay, so a couple of things just finished. We've got our new level of light tanks. So the light tank 3 had, say, 4 defense, 26 breakthrough, versus 5 defense, 36 breakthrough. A soft attack of 10 versus a 14, higher base speed, all kinds of things. Just a much, much, much better light tank. Really happy about that. Take a look at industry right now. It's not 37. We don't want to get this level of stuff yet, so we're going to wait. That's all good. Engineering is in a good shape. So with that, I'm going to go and unlock the 1936 fighter plane. And we're going to start production on that, because we haven't been building any fighters whatsoever, and we will want more at some point. Although, I know I don't need Marines yet. No, we're okay. I will want Marines at some point, but for now, we are okay. So we're going to go attack over here. Our divisions should reinforce, and then they go. They start coming in, and that should be a pretty heavy-duty stomp. And then if we move over here, we will cross a river, but it should allow us to continue to cut off more things. They've already got some isolated troops over here, and we're going to make sure they stay isolated and cut off from supply. And then if we can get some more stack wipes is good, because you really don't tend to stack wipe things very much. People are really good about falling back. You know, some people do get hurt, and you need to replace them with reinforcements, and some equipment gets damaged, and you have to reinforce that from the queue as well. But overall, move forward. Okay, my production queue over here. We're currently producing L3 tanks. I'm going to switch it up for L6 tanks. We're going to lose some of our production efficiency over here, but not all of it, because we're switching from one tank to another tank. I'm going to assign some of our factories there, although right now we don't have enough available. I'm going to keep working on mostly infantry equipment and the support equipment here before we go heavy duty into the tank production, but that's all right. And we still need to unlock the fighter tech. Oh, we got another research slot. That's right, because we finished something else as well. We could get some doctrines going on. I think I'm going to start working on the support weapons, though. That infantry tech is going to be really handy. Alright, nearly done this battle here. Let's go back up to speed 3. And yeah, these guys are going to continue to overextend, it looks like. There we go. That battle's been won. My stats are fine. I think we're going to go right and push into the next one. This will be attacking across a river, but we should get a pretty stupendous number. Oh, they actually have a lot of brigades over here passing through, but with no real organization. So it should be a pretty one-sided stomp. Yeah, actually progressing extraordinarily quickly here. And again, working towards more and more and more just cutting off. Although they're actually pushing back pretty hard and are making a move towards Madrid here once more. We're going to keep using our tanks to do what they should be doing, which is trying to cut off supply lines. Also don't want them to regain that fort because then they could shift, or that port, because they could shift goods around the way. Finish another national focus. Industrial Focus 2 gives us 4 military factories for free, which is really nice. And most importantly, we can now start on the extra research slot. So we can research, well, 5 things instead of 4. So a 25% boost to our total research speed. So we're going for the cutoffs here. And what I'll do... Oh, we're starting a fight. So I guess we're going to do that. I was going to say, I'll leave some dudes behind over here. And then attack that way. So this should be a few more stack wipes, which is really, really valuable. Meanwhile, I mean, there's some pushback. I could spread my tank divisions out a little bit. And I am going to do that after this. I'm going to leave one here, go across the river, and then I'm going to move all 3 towards the northwest. Especially since they did take this port, which I don't want them to do. If we can hold Madrid... the other thing I could do is make a beeline towards Barcelona. Because if we take it, I think the Republicans might surrender. On the other hand, that leaves me potentially at risk of... you're going there, and you'll go to the end. It leaves me potentially at risk of getting myself surrounded somewhere. There is a port here, though, so I should be able to ship supplies if I do make it to Barcelona. There we go. That's what I want to do. You move up there. This one had actually full organization. The others don't have tons of organization. We'll let them chill for a bit. This one's actually doing okay. This one's a little lower. But, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make sure these guys have a supply run going to them. So that's my goal. Cut off the enemy from their supplies, but also ensure that the nationalist troops don't run out of supply either. Because, yeah, this war is just a mess. It's just a clusterfuck. From start to end, it is the messiest war that you will see in this game. And it has to do with the amount of provinces and the lack of actual troop numbers to hold a rigid front line. Oh, we're actually losing over here. We are doing more damage. They just have a lot more defense left over. I think we are ultimately pushing forward. Yeah, and we are. It should be okay. The Olympic Games just finished. There we go. Germans saw the most with 33 gold medals, Americans second with 24, and 4 of those were won by Jesse Owens, single most successful athlete of the games. Isn't that exciting? I don't think that event ever really does anything one way or another. Some of the numbers might shift, I'm not sure. Okay, that's good. That reasserts that, which is wonderful. Now this tank is going to come back around here. Actually, just take that territory. Don't necessarily... No, go ahead and do that. Because, yeah, I was going to say, these guys will probably pull back. This tank, we're going to let it reload its organization before moving in. Retake Bilbao. Like, I can routinely take things over and over and over again, but unless nationalist Spain is taking advantage of that to backfill things, I can't just sit here and hold this territory. I mean, I guess I partially could. Oh, they've been cut off from their port now. That's quite nice, and actually... these guys should be 100% isolated now, and which should result in a stack wipe, I think, if we defeat them. So we're going to take this province by walking through it. There we go. Join over there. And that's what's important, is actually wiping out these stacks completely, because they're completely isolated. And now we're starting to get more of a defined front line. We still have Madrid, although they're making a good push towards it. But then I think I'm going to beeline towards Barcelona. And I don't think they can stop my 3 tank divisions. Not when we've got Giovanni Messi in charge of it, who's learning a bunch of new tricks and is a third of the way to level 5. So I think those guys, yeah, they're just gone completely. Completely captured and or killed. And yeah, I'm just going to go and make a blind move towards Barcelona. Be nice to do a battle plan, because I could get the preparation bonus, but the battle plans, I think, tend to get reset quite often. Got a little bit of attrition going on here in the mountains. That'll be okay. So we are going to be extending well past our front line, but we don't have to do any... Well, there's a little river here. Or is that a state border? Actually, that might just be a state border, I realize now. Yeah. So I'm not actually crossing a river. Oh, those guys pull back right away. And as long as I make it to Barcelona, I will not get cut off by supplies. And hopefully, the nationalist troops will stop me from being cut off along the way. If need be, I'll turn around and fight my way back out. Actually, we've got some isolated troops there. I don't really like the idea of attacking across the river, and these guys are about to close that in, which is not good. No, I'll just make the run. My troops are fast. And these guys are, like, they have no organization, so they just keep getting pushed back over and over and over again. I'll clearly make it to Barcelona. We still have Madrid. That might be all that it takes. And once I hold Barcelona, then I can push back out again. This should be fine. Cities are really good for defending, and we don't have all our troops in yet. We need the reserves to pop in before the organization of the first one goes away. I mean, we should be okay. And as soon as they're in, we'll do more and more and more damage here. Alright. Well, still building civilian factories, which is good. We're still low on some resources. I could consider starting to trade some out, especially since it would help with my tank production. And I think I will do that. I'm going to ask the Soviets, perhaps, for... I'm just going to trade a couple of factories. There we go. So each factory gives us 8 units of oil. We were down 26, now we're only down 10, which means we're going to be producing our planes, boats, and tanks a little bit faster. We're definitely going to take Barcelona. We still clearly have Madrid. In fact, let's push it back. Yeah. Okay, the Republicans have collapsed. And I think we'll have enough victory points once we take... do we have a victory point here? Only one. Once we take Barcelona with its 15 points, plus the 30 from Madrid, I think that will be the end of it. And there we go. We've got it. Does take a little bit before it actually processes. May as well engage these guys. Yeah, they're pushing back here. It might not be enough. We might have to take some more stuff along the coast. Valencia is worth 5, 1, and they do have a lot of national unity at 80%. That's actually pretty significant. And they're going to move back here. I'm wondering... I could leave some things in Barcelona. And I think I will do that, actually. I will leave one tank behind in Barcelona. And then the other two are going to make a beeline to Valencia. If we don't fight anything on the other side of this river, then we're going to be in really good shape. It's all... well, it's hills. Be nice if it was flat land, but hills will do. We'll take Valencia. We still have Madrid. What other victory points do they have? They have Zaragoza, which is worth 1, 1, and 1, right? Yeah, it's got to be the end of it once we take Valencia. So I'm not having to be worried about being cut off from supplies here. Ah, there we go! Because I'm sitting in a fort. Or a port. You're welcome, nationalist Spain. So now, we have a good fascist buddy over here. They actually like me from the volunteers, and I assume that probably goes down over time. But that's going to be great. Okay, so we'll get our 3 tanks back. We got some experience, did use up some material, but we got some battle experience, and that's good. Now, let's take a look at my training over here. You guys are mostly done training, so I'm going to stop you exercising. End of the Spanish Civil War. Yes, indeed. Very good. All right, you guys, I'm going to get you, I'm going to form a new army. And with the front line over to there. And they'll move automatically, which is just great, from port to port. And I don't know what your attack will be. It might just be to hold this port. And the extra research slot. Nice. Sounds like I could have you go all the way down the coast. Which wouldn't be bad, what with the mountains. I think that's what I'm going to do with this offensive line. I mean, there are no victory goals here. There's split. Maybe I'll just have you grab split. Okay, I'm not doing a good job redrawing that. Let me try that again. Offensive line. Something like that. There we go. You're just going to push out a little bit. We could make a beeline up here and try to cut these guys off from the supplies. And we may actually do that, especially if I move some tanks. I think that 3 tank division is going to move down there and is going to be part of a move to rush off here and cut off the front line of the Yugoslavian troops. I think I like that quite a bit. Okay. My troops are still coming home. All right, so we got the +1 research slot. Now, I could build fortification along the French border. I could get more infrastructure in Italy, which would be really handy and leads to more prospecting from oil, which is really good. I could go and do the claims in Yugoslavia right now. I could also get some experience and more factories and advancing on tech. If I take Yugoslavia, most likely that will lead to the world tension being above 25%. Wow, that nationalist Spain tension is brutal. If it goes above 25%, people can start guaranteeing nations, which might hurt the German war effort. I don't know if it actually matters. You know what? I want to do the claims on Yugoslavia before the world tension gets so high that someone guarantees its independence. So I'm going to do this. Oh, I still haven't done Triumph in Africa? Derp derp. Let's do that. Okay. So we got the extra research slot. Wonderful. So one more thing. It is still 36. I will want the Marines at some point. So I'm actually going to jump on that now. Because I'll definitely want probably like 4 divisions of Marines that can help, especially once I do Greece, or actually once the World War starts, I can use it to quickly grab Alexandria, for example, while the rest of my troops move in. And if you take these ports, you can... oh, there you go, my troops are back home. If you take these ports, you can cut off supplies from the UK, so their troops are going to have a hard time. So Army 2, this is the one that was responsible for the previous war. I'm going to get these guys to join this yellow front over here. We don't have any generals assigned, that's okay. I mean, I suppose, tell you what, I'll put you back. You actually will be Giovanni down here, because you're going to have armor divisions. And the teal group is going to have the other level 4 general, Ubaldo, who's got the mountaineer trait. Not that there's mountains down here, not so much over here. I don't know if mountaineer helps with hills. No, just mountain attack. Still, you know, that's going to be okay. Do you have any other traits coming in? Engineer and desert fox. Yeah, that'll be really good to develop. I think this guy's going to be pretty darn strong. The one limit is you can only control 24 troops at a time. He's almost at that limit as is. Do I want to train some more tank divisions? Well, right now, I'm actually short on light tanks. Partially because I want to do some upgrading as well. That's part of the problem. But most of my tank divisions aren't at full strength, so I think it's okay to just wait on that. These cavalry divisions, so what are you? You're actual just weak-ass cavalry. I'll leave you as is, but I think my intention will be to change these 2 cavalry divisions, which you can do over here. Change them to another template. I'm going to change them to the proper tank division. And then I will probably just get rid of the old template. I mean, I guess I can keep it around, but I don't intend to use real cavalry going forward. There's still some cavalry in the tank divisions, but the tank divisions are better organized. I do have a little bit of army experience. I could go and tune my infantry in particular. I would love for them to have support artillery. So right now, to build one of these divisions costs 310 infantry equipment and 30 support. And now, it'll also need 24 artillery. So I'm going to do that. That, I don't know if you noticed, but these dropped a little bit because they suddenly had extra needs. And if we take a look at our artillery, we have a shortage of artillery because all of our current infantry divisions are needing that kind of stuff. And so what I'm going to do is I'll slow down my infantry equipment development. Maybe slow down my support as well. Yeah, we'll get some more people moved over to towed artillery. And we also got more light tanks being produced. Got a long way to go before we can finish all the ones that we need for the total upgrading. This is a little deceptive because a lot of our tanks are actually there, but they're using the L3 tanks right now instead of the L6s. So the man's a bit off. Okay, we can modify the government again. What are we going to do? I kind of like that. War industrialists. We're not really building military factories yet, so we can wait. Chief of the Army could certainly help with the upcoming combat. I think I am going to go for the industrial research time, because I'm going to have a few more to research there soon. Right? Well, we're nearly done dispersed industry, and actually, after that... That's almost 37, so we can get the next level. Yo, I think that's going to be a great idea. We're going to take the reduced industry research time guy. I mean, he's the only choice in that category, so obviously we're going to take him at some point, and I think taking him now is perfectly fine. All right. So we're only training a few more infantry divisions right now. And that's okay. In fact, even if we weren't training any, we'd still, be short on things. Actually, we have a lot of infantry equipment itself. And given that fact, I think I'm going to add more infantry numbers over here. Yeah, just regular infantry divisions added in over here. And that'll take 10 points. So now we're going to need extra manpower and extra equipment. But these divisions now have more regiments of infantry. So even though like the numbers are the same, it's still the same number of divisions over here. They're actually quite a bit stronger. And that's one of the ways I'm differentiating between my regular infantry division over here and the colonial ones, which are only ever going to have this. They may not even have any support equipment ever. They're mostly just there to provide a bit of a token front line so that someone can't just walk through an area here. But it's such a long front line to manage that investing too heavily here would be bad. We're going to have to build it up at some point, though, but not yet. So what I'm thinking is this line here will all be colonial, just to hold that, just like basically just enough to have one per province, and that'll be it. And then what we'll have is a bit of an invasion force over here, and then probably on the northern border here, we'll have a force that goes east. And maybe we'll drop some Marines. Rather than drop it here, maybe we'll drop the Marines here, because then we should be able to go east and do pretty good. Okay, a bunch of tech just finished. So let's look through what we want to grab next. Definitely want those Marines. I think we can make do without paratroopers for now. We're not in 38, so we're not getting anything like that. I do very much like the Recon Company. It's a pretty powerful little addition. The Maintenance Company isn't bad either, but not as important. I think I'll grab the Recon Company. Also, we're about to hit 37, so let's go and grab the next level of Dispersed Industry right away. It's only 0.04 years ahead of time. Boom. And also the next level of construction, very valuable. Actually, let me... Whoops, pause. Let me cancel the Recon Company here. I'm going to replace you with the improved machine tools, which gives us a higher production cap efficiency. There we go. Okay, our national focus of Triumph in Africa finished, but more importantly, or, well, just about, Germany is proposing an anti-Comintern pact. That's their national focus they just chose. So do we want to sign up and say that communists are big poo-poo heads? And I'm going to agree. I'm going to join Germany there. It's going to give us a big boost to our relationship with each other. Soviet Union's not going to like me, but that's okay. So now we like each other quite a bit more. So we got a Triumph in Africa, which gives us more base unity. So we actually have 85% unity right now, which is pretty good. And more importantly, lets us fabricate claims on Yugoslavia, which I'm going to go ahead and do. I'm going to try to take all of Yugoslavia. It's very greedy, and it will definitely jump world tension. But hey, and we're not technically going Italy first, but we're going Italy first, if you know what I'm saying. I'm just moving more ships out over here. We still don't have to deploy our fleets yet. And speaking of our fleets, what are we doing? Now we're just working on our battleships. First one's going to be done in 2 years at this point. And, but we are going to get some more dockyards soon. Because I think we're going to take an event that gives us some. Or the national decision that gives us some. And we may build some as well. Especially if we want these battleships to come in at an appreciable rate. I don't think we need that many convoys. Because we don't actually have that many shipping partners that we can trade with. And a lot of them might be overland, like we'll take some things from Germany. But we're definitely going to have to pad out our oil production, which is another boost to having the industrial research time guy here, because one of the things we industrially research is synthetic oil. So we can start building up some refineries over there. Plus, we are hopefully going to capture some of our own oil. Speaking of oil, how we look in on different resources, do I want to trade away more of my civilian factories? We are trading away some of our stuff automatically, by the way, which we don't have a choice of necessarily. Chromium, you know what? I think it's going to be fine. Let's go ahead and get one factory for 8, which is exactly what we need over here. Oil, we will... I'll spread it out a bit. I'm going to trade with the United States. I'm just going to trade one. We'll still be a bit short, but that's okay. We need a bunch of steel, actually. I'm quite surprised about that. Hey, well, we'll trade it with France. And I'll trade 2 factories away there. There we go. So that's going to boost our production rates a fair bit. We're still short. We need a lot for these battleships. Like, they really eat a lot of resources. But they're powerful. It will give us pretty solid control over the Mediterranean. Okay, we finished a couple more divisions over here. So I'm going to add one more to the Yugoslavian front over here to bring us to 24 of 24, which is going to be fine. And then I definitely want a little bit more over here. This is probably going to be sufficient to hold this, because we're going to be holding 4 provinces on our front line. We'll have 4 infantry, plus the 3 units of light armor that we're probably going to manually use to drive around and do some stuff with over here. So that is a fine number. So basically, I'm going to change my production. Well, let's say, do I want them automatically moving to this front? I might want to start producing some Alpine forces for this front, because they're going to perform a lot better. Let me start training 1. I'll tell them to deploy, say, in Turin, but then, or that's Piedmont, and then click here and then assign them to this front. So they'll automatically join this army. It's, all right, it's gray is the color of the army. It looks like it's not assigned, but it is. So when they get produced, they'll automatically join this army and assign themselves to this front, and that's going to be wonderful. Okay. Still have a lot of equipment, so actually that's fine. Although it has gone down a bit, because we did buff up all of our infantry pools. By the way, the other thing to adding divisions like this is I believe some of these guys might have lost some experience, because they effectively have more dudes. Yeah, a lot of these used to be regular, and now they're not anymore. So we may as well exercise them, because they're basically on the cusp of becoming regular, and it'd be nice if they were that before the war started. How are we doing over here? We've actually got some green infantry over here. It won't be the case for long. I'll exercise them for a little bit. We've got the extra infantry resources, so it's probably okay. Factory is starting to pile up. Ah, there we go. There's our new fighter crafts. Excellent. Excellent. So we're going to start producing these. So we definitely need more military factories soon. I don't think I want the excavation. I don't know if we've got enough resources to make that worthwhile right now. Maybe later. I'm not sure. I think I'm going to pick up the synthetic oil production, though. Even though we are going to expand the amount of oil that we've got in North Africa, both through conquest and as well as some national focuses, or foci. I don't know. I think building synthetics is still going to be quite helpful, especially as we want to start producing more actual planes. Which, I mean, I'm going to go and produce. I'm going to add an order here to produce fighters. I mean, we're going to want at least 5 factories doing that, if not more. And I'm going to want that prioritized above the close air support here, because we're going to need a good number. We need 300 still. I'm not going to assign any factories to it quite yet, because we're still going to need more support equipment and more infantry equipment, although, because as soon as we finish the Yugoslavian war, we'll have a lot of experience, and we'll be able to actually buff these guys a lot more. I hate to take something down when it's already got such production efficiency. Suppose I could just be producing more as well. That's an idea. Actually, while this is a lot less exciting, I am going to go and start producing some colonial divisions. Now, you can't send them to a non-core province by default. So I'd have to build them, say, here. But then I can assign them to a front, say, here. So they'll move on their own to be down there. And I think that's going to be okay. All right, so I'm not going to touch my production yet. I think it's going to be all right. Hate to lose that production efficiency. All right, well, we're going to put a cut in here. We are currently working on fabricating some claims in Yugoslavia. Once we've got our claims, we still have to justify our casus belli, but I think we should be able to sneak that in there. We will be rocketing up the world tension. Hopefully we don't screw up everything for the Axis at that point, but we'll see how it goes. Thanks for watching, folks, and I'll see you next time.